Situational awareness is a term often used by advanced players, and it can be somewhat confusing. Although it sounds great to want to improve one's situational awareness, which is an understanding of what's going on around you so that you're never surprised by anything the game is throwing at you, going about it can actually be quite difficult, thanks mostly to habit. So in this video, let's discuss ways to improve your situational awareness with some actual exercises for you to sink your teeth into. Okay, so situational awareness relies upon a few things, especially if you're doing any sort of PvE content. Let's take a moment to think about where an awareness of what's going on around you actually comes from. Well, first of all, it comes from your camera, actually seeing something happen in the game world, like fire on the ground or enemies running about. It's actually one of the quickest ways to identify danger. The first thing to do here is to make sure you've got your max camera distance set to the furthest. You can do this by going to the Interface, Camera menu, and using the slider there. Secondly, you'll want to keep your camera zoomed out as far as possible so that you have as much visual information available to you as you can. Third, and this one is the most important, make sure to move your camera around a lot. Having a higher mouse sensitivity will help here, as it will help you swing your camera around quickly. Take some time to get into the habit of checking what is in front of you, then what's to your left, then what's to your right, and then behind you, every couple of seconds. This will become second nature after a while, and it will help you spot things very quickly. The next way to avoid being surprised by the game is to have a system in place to help predict enemy abilities. If you're doing any kind of raiding, then you absolutely need to have deadly boss mods or bigwigs installed to alert you when certain abilities are cast. Now, this is what most players use these add-ons for, but you can actually go further. My suggestion here is to tinker with the options menu of these add-ons and move the bars that predict the timing of abilities to a place on your screen where you'll actually take notice of them. It's very easy to just have them off to the right or the left, but making the effort to actively look at these timing bars so that you can think ahead rather than react to enemy abilities will increase your situational awareness, because raids are almost always about how abilities are cast and how they overlap. Preparing yourself beforehand, even by a couple of seconds, will let you preempt boss attacks and handle mechanics much faster, regardless of whether you're a tank, a healer, or a damage dealer. Another good way to preempt boss abilities is to keep them targeted, or turn them into a focus, and watch who they're targeting. Very often, a boss will very briefly target the player they're about to cast a certain ability on right before they do it. And if you notice that this is you, you can start reacting to a certain ability right before it's cast. Naturally, this requires good knowledge of an encounter. Research is vital here. The final suggestion I have for improving situational awareness is your sound. Never play with your sound off. Each encounter is designed in very specific ways, and just about every boss is voice acted. I mention this because pretty much every single ability cast by a boss in a raid or a dungeon will have an associated line, which you will hear if you have your game sound on. You don't necessarily need to have your music on and your sound turned up all the way, just as long as you can hear what's going on around you. Sometimes the sound of a particular ability hitting the floor, the growl of a certain enemy, or what a boss yells can alert you even before add-ons as to what will be going on. This again takes a little bit of time to get used to, but get into the habit of always having your sound on, even if it's quite quiet, just so that you can have that extra line of audio information flowing to you. So those are a few suggestions for improving situational awareness. Make sure you use your head and don't fall into the trap of mindlessly reacting to boss abilities. It can be very boring right now because we are technically in the drought, there's no new content coming out for quite a while, we're doing the same bosses in raids over and over and over again. Take the time to hone your skills so that when Legion comes along, you'll be better prepared to fight new bosses and dance around their mechanics just like you are right now.